Here to share her health praise report using Revitablu is Sherri. Welcome, Sherri.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Briefly, tell us about your former health challenges.
Oh boy. Um, Several years ago, I was in a head-on car collision, and it did a lot of structural damage, and I had a very traumatic brain injury. They
Mm,
said that I would never recover from. It took me 2 years to learn to read and write again,
my goodness.
and then several years after that, I decided to try riding horses again, and I was in a riding accident that broke my back in four places
Ouch.
and did a lot more structural damage, internal injuries, and I got drugged down the road a ways, and yeah, my body was pretty
Oh,
much done.
oh my goodness gracious. Well, I'm glad you lived to tell us all about it. Now, what happened when you began to take Revitablu?
Oh my gosh, Christian Drapeau has just been a complete, and his product has been a complete godsend as far as I'm concerned.
How so? Tell us all about it.
I was my body was done. I mean, I was literally on a hospital bed in my living room. I was completely dependent on my family for my care at one point, and since taking Christian's product, the 13 medications that I was on,
Yes.
I no longer take. I'd been diagnosed with several different things. One was a chronic, agonizing discomfort. It didn't matter what I did or what position I was in,
Mm.
and it was just chronic pain all the time. And what I can tell you is that I'm now the fun grandma, not the lay in the hospital bed grandma.
Hey,
uh,
Grandma.
I don't plan my day around my level of discomfort. I
Wow.
do what I want when I want, and I just nothing really stops me at this point.
I want you to pause
I'm
right there. I want you to pause right there. And please forgive me for interrupting you, but I think that what you just said was paramount. You said you no longer plan your days around your discomfort. Is that what you used to do?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, it was never what I wanted to do. My
Right.
day was, what can I do?
Mm,
What is my body going to allow me to do? What can I work through? How much discomfort can I handle today?
mm.
And try and get things done. And there were things that I just simply physically could not do
Yeah,
because of the level of discomfort, and I don't consider that anymore.
that's a beautiful thing. And you attribute that to taking your Revita Blue.
It is the only thing, for a long time, people, I tried so many supplements, Dr. LaJoyce. I tried everything out there, and nothing changed anything.
Yeah,
I tried supplements, I tried creams, I tried salves, I took prescription medications, which, when you take a prescription medication, for instance, if you take a pain pill, that
mm-hmm.
pain pill may or may not relieve some of the discomfort
True.
for a certain amount of time, but it wears off. And that's the
True.
amazing thing that I
Yeah.
found about Revita Blue is when your body repairs something, it doesn't unrepair because you didn't take it later in the day.
How about that? How about that?
Exactly.
You said that when your body repairs something, it does not unrepair it later in the day. So the pain pills were once this incredible band-aid on your bullet hole, masking a pain and would wear off. But you haven't found that to be so by taking something that has been repairing the body.
Exactly. I mean, what I find myself doing is more and more every single day. I mean,
Mm,
I was told I needed a hip replacement, I needed a knee replacement, that there was nothing that could, it was too far gone even for stem cell injections. I'm
okay.
not going to have either one of those surgeries. I don't need
Wow.
them.
Wow. You were going to have a knee replacement, you were going to have a hip replacement, and now you no longer need them.
Correct.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Mr. Drapeau, are Sherry's results typical?
Uh, how could I say? Everybody will react differently.
Yes.
Everybody will have results that belongs to them.
Aha.
When stem cells are released, they don't go where your mind wants them to go.
Mm.
They go where the body will call them. So
Yes.
the part of the body that needs assistance will call stem cells, will make them go to these tissues. So at the end, what will dictate the benefit is really different from one person to another. But have I heard those kinds of stories throughout the years? Before you mentioned, it was my love of plant. It is, but it's first and foremost my love of people.
Yes.
I have seen so many lives being changed that, yes, I have heard those stories. I mean, thousands of them.
What's the most incredible story that stands out to you, Mr. Drapeau?
Probably the one. I mean, honestly, it would be hard to answer to that question because we've got cases for which medicine, for example, cannot do anything, and we have proof on video in case of spinal cord injury, for example, where we can have benefits, but we cannot talk about those kinds of testimonials. Let me just give you this one because
Sure.
that's the one that brought some tears. Some years ago, there's this young lady. She was in her 20s. She stood up in a room. There were maybe like 400 or 500 people in the room, and she said, "It's not my story. It's the story of my sister. She's here in the room, but she's too shy to speak."
Oh.
She said, "My story with my sister is that anytime friends came home, I had to be very careful that she would hit them, she would punch them, she would hit them with sticks, she would." And she said, "I never had a sister. I could never give her a hug. My sister was always the source of danger. She was schizophrenic."
Okay.
And she said, now for the past 6 months that she has been taking this product, she said, now this product gave me a sister. I hug her every day.
Oh.
And she said, and now she's smiling.
Uh-huh.
So life-changing. I've had parents coming to me. Here's another story. I have a parent in Mexico a few years ago looked at me. His daughter was about 9 years old, and she used to have vitiligo. So white spots, patches on the skin. And the father crying, I mean, tearing in his eyes and telling me, from as long as I remember, my daughter has always been bullied, ridiculed, made fun of at school. And she said, and now the only spot left, and he asked his daughter to remove her sandals, and she had this little pale patch the size of a pea that was left on the top of her foot.
Wow.
Her arms and her legs, everything was gone. So all I'm saying here is that stories of, and again, there's no miracle here. The product didn't do anything. The only thing that the product does is that it supports the natural release of stem cells from the bone marrow. When stem cells are in the bloodstream, your body will use them to transform them into what your body needs.
There you go.
So the product doesn't do any of these things. The body does.
The body does. And what I say here all of the time is when you give the body what it needs, it will repair itself. I want to thank you both so much for being here, Mr. Christian Drapeau and Sherri. Thank you.